take blue side first time around. Rek'Sai going to be the first ban. Kalista and Fizz for Legacy is the first two. Victor, of course, followed that Rek'Sai there for the Chiefs. Still waiting for that final ban. We'll see what Swiper takes off the board, but there's a certain Sivir that's standing out here, Spawn.
Yeah, there certainly is. Alistar also available. Don't know whether the Chiefs would like either of those to slip through, so probably ban one and pick the other would be the tactic right now.
It could be a thing. Elise is going to be taken away from Carbon, so focused out with 2 bans already from the blue side of the rift here for the Chiefs. Legacy thinking about their final ban. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is, of course, 5.14. So Rise, not quite as much of a problem. We'll see what Legacy are going to be banning away.
Yeah, and you know, the Rek'Sai ban makes a lot of sense because when we saw Legacy play against the Direwolves, Carbon grabbed it all 3 first games. Alistar banned by Legacy, and as you can see, Chiefs snap up the Sivir.
Yeah, they waste absolutely no time at all. Sivir into the hands of Radier. Heard some interesting stories actually from Swiffer about Radier learning to play Sivir, running the wrong directions, but certainly has it down pat now. This guy's able to weave auto attacks like you wouldn't believe. Legacy now to answer, and there's a certain Shen that a certain player likes to play with a certain banner of command that they could pick up. But my God, that was quick.
Yeah, it certainly was. They go with Braum, they grab the Nunu. Carbon very vocal that if it's available, you just have to pick it. If Elise isn't up, just values the control that it gives you. And all of a sudden, Spooks, who likes to play a pace game, is going to have to go up with the best pace-setting jungler. Nunu able to grab an early Sightstone, provide a lot of vision. Maybe this is how they help Claire out in the bottom lane by just having Carbon do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, the other thing I want to talk about is this Braum pickup. We recently had a conversation talking about whether Claire was going to move to the Braum. Of course, it's seen a whole massive surge of popularity. We'll see whether he's got the tactics down, because this is a support champion that's difficult to play.
Yeah, it certainly is, because Braum's all about the positioning and using your stand behind me to get onto allies, so you really have to know the kit inside and out. The reason it's so dangerous if he can play it well is because Choose plays Yasuo, and the double wall composition with the knock-up available is just devastating, and Swiffer does not.
Yeah, and we've seen that internationally as well. It's not going to be picked away here because Swiffer does not play the Yasuo, but they have locked in. Man, these lock-ins are going so incredibly quickly. Gragas and Maokai here, of course. Maokai in the hands of Swiper. Yeah, he's used to playing the tree, of course. Most played champions are, of course, the Maokai and the Fizz. And Spooks is going to be taking away the Gragas. Definitely one of his staples as well.
Yeah, it certainly is. They grabbed Maokai twice against the Avant lineup in that last game that came down to the wire in the first one. And Swiper is just, I'm going to say, probably the most versatile player in the OPL. He plays absolutely everything, from transforming from a Scion-only top laner split one to being able to carry on the Fizz, on the Hecarim, now bringing out the Maokai again. One of the best soul tanks. And when you couple it up with something like the Gragas, gives you a lot of peel as well as initiation.
But Legacy going to lock in Azir, and Wally Thacker going to pick up the Cogmore as well. We've been seeing him playing a lot of Corki recently, a lot of mid-range AD carries. Does actually like to get right up into the face of his opponent, but that's not what Cogmore's about, Spawn.
Well, that's why they've got the Azir there, Atlas, to just shove people away from him.
Sense.
He doesn't have to worry about his positioning because Choose can take care of that. And Choose is a great Azir player. And right now you can see that they have the quintessential protect the Cogmore comp. The Raise the Puppy that can come through. A nice big wall for Braum to put up. Then you've got the Emperor's Divide as well as all of the attack speed. This allows Minky also to grab something that is a split pusher in the top lane, and he is very vocal about wanting to kill Swiper tonight.
Well, we'll see whether he can do that, because I'm thinking about a split pusher in the top lane, and I have a feeling Shen could be a thing, as, my goodness, Ejim locks in his most played champion in the split, the Annie, of course, tied with the Alistar, as well as Swiffer's Twisted Fate. We're in for a pretty good game one, Spawn.
Which means that they were thinking the split pusher would come out in the top lane as well. Automatically, they grab the Twisted Fate. Guarantees winning lanes because he can help so much quicker. And he's also able to answer that split push in the late game because he has a semi-global of his own. And he just lends so much initiation to this lineup. They play best when it's Spooks and Ejim starting up the team fights. And this is a very safe Chiefs lineup for game one. Nothing new here.
No, certainly nothing new. And Chiefs as well, especially when they're playing with a Sivir, play so well moving forward. And all of these champions want to be moving forward.
Yeah, they certainly do want to get up in the face of the Legacy lineup, who have taken a very long time
Oh my goodness, Minky Whale. We just saw a history video, and we're doing it one more time here. Minky Whale picks the Aurelia for the top lane, and this goes back to the end of winter. This was when they were scrimming, and Swiper was decking Minky Whale on Aurelia over and over again.
Yeah, it certainly was. They did not used to like that one going through. Both teams love to play it, however.
This is how you're going to kill Swiper.
Of Blood Boil in the game. Movement speed, attack speed, the slow that comes out of Nunu, everything Aurelia wants that she doesn't have in her kit is just guaranteed. It means that you don't have to grab any second offensive item. You can go pure tank after that Trinity Force and become absolute hell to deal with in the late game.
So Carbon can gank any lane and Blood Boil is going to be effective.
Yeah, he's got the value Blood Boil there. Get 40% CDR, chuck it on 2 people, Carbon. Sit back, let your team do the rest.
Is there a way that he can make it AoE spawn?
No, there is not.
Because he kind of needs it on everyone.
Nah, Choose will be fine.
Claire even needs it. He wants to activate that passive more. Needs more stuns.
Give people
We have a look at our incredible crowd here in the big top at Luna Park. Everyone just waiting to get onto the Rift for our first match between the Chiefs and Legacy. Is the Chiefs in the first game here at the Grand Final going to have their 100% win streak broken, Spawn?
A couple of analysts seem to think so. Very hard match for Legacy to be able to take away, but they've put together a really nice team fighting comp to do so.
Yeah, really solid team combos. You do see on your screen both of our teams, and hop onto Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Use that hashtag CHFWin or the hashtag LGCWin and let us know exactly who you think is going to take that one. Of course, also include the hashtag IMOPL because we just want to use that as much as we possibly can. But as you can see, we're onto the Rift for game 1. The Chiefs on the blue side, Legacy on the red. And it's all down to this.
It certainly is, Atlas, and already we see 5 members of the Chiefs heading into their top side of the jungle, seeing whether if they can get anything cheeky on the top brush. They love to do this. They'll hide out a Fog of War, see if they can catch Minky Whale out, and surely he will not fall for it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at both of these lineups as well, Spawn, and Legacy going for that defensive fan. Is this because their team doesn't necessarily work as well in the early stages of the game?
Yeah, Azir, just not a great level 1 champion.
One
Nunu
button
wants
only.
to take the Blood Boil to consume, not the snowball. So they're just going to back away, see if they can get control over their half of the map.
Yeah, optimistic body slam there from Spooks. Doesn't find anyone yet though, but they do have the lane swap wards. Chiefs wanting to make sure, I assume, that they can get that 2v2.
Yeah. Potentially, you know, Maokai jungles incredibly well at the start of the game, can take a camp by himself and then help his jungler out a lot. But you would assume with how the Chiefs play, they would not mind facing up 2v2 against Wally and Claire in the bottom lane and seeing if Radiant and Ejim can exploit the new support player for Legacy.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because I was saying that assuming that Raider and Ejim just want to go toe-to-toe with their opposition, but with the extra range on a Cogmore and putting Minky Whale in a lane against Swiper as Aurelia against Maokai, might actually work out for Legacy to have these standard lanes, and we'll see how it does go as the minions are going to clash.
So it does look like lane swap initiated by the Chiefs,
Yeah.
and this is the first question you should ask of any new support. Can you play in a lane swap situation? How do you roam around the map?
Exactly.
What does your vision control look like? And straight away you can see that it's been initiated.
This does mean that Claire can make it back to his natural habitat in the early stage of the game, Spawn. Get some Winter's bites out there and try and slow down Swiffer. Of course, double avoidance summoners here in the Ghost and the Flash for the Twisted Fate, so we'll be able to get out of the way, but every visit is going to be dangerous.
And you see Legacy lineup sharing experience. Same thing happening on the other side of the Rift, out of the Chiefs, and mid lane isolated. Choo-Choo's love this matchup. We saw last time they played that Spooks had to give a lot of attention to mid lane. It was Cassiopeia versus Ari, and Choose was getting the better of Swiffer early.
Well, you can see this game is no exception on that front. Already down to 200 health. Swiffer eating those biscuits as quickly as he can. 5 CS to 9 as Choo-Choo's with a hard shove already. The jungle steal. Of course, vertical jungling coming down from Legacy as they've already made it in, but a little bit after the Chiefs have already taken that red buff.
And you see that Swiffer started with the bottle, so not going to really mind the fact that he is being bullied slightly in the early game. 4-man shove coming into this bottom lane. Actually 3 as Carbon picks up the red buff solo, and Legacy looking to break the base first off.
Yeah, Swiffer actually gold card onto Choo Choos, but lots of damage back. Those Sand Soldiers doing work here for the mid laner of Legacy. Looks like he hasn't skipped a beat after his holiday. Might have even been refreshing for him.
Certainly hope so. He went on a holiday.
That is generally how it works. I was just talking more about staying in practice. Didn't quite work out there, Spawn. Unfortunate stuff. But the Chiefs are going to go for this fast push as well. And sort of a step back in time here for Oceania. We loved our fast pushes, and it's continuing.
Yeah, it certainly is. Seeing if they can accelerate the pace of the game. With a Nunu, you love lane swaps because you generally get the dragon nice and early on to go with that first turret. As you see, Wally takes it down, gets the lane to bounce as well, so that's great news for their bottom lane. Going to mean that Radier and Egem have to overextend. And the same thing can be said on the top lane, although they're a little bit more healthy, so it depends on prioritization.
Yeah, and Legacy, quite handy on the bottom side of the map, are going to be able to pick up the first dragon here at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Claire almost dying, Carbon missing the smite, so there, got it out of his system now. Knows exactly how much health these big neutral monsters have. He's not going to miss another one, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry.
Getting his eye in.
Yeah, exactly, that's what it's about.
Claire flirting with death. It's just beautiful to watch.
That's how he plays mid, that's how he's going to play support.
We have everyone going back for shop. And Legacy happy to swap into that top lane now. Give that big frozen wave over to Minky Whale, although Egem looking to pay his previous top laner a visit.
Yeah, and he's been waiting there for quite some time. Nice ward here for Legacy. Spots Radier entering the lane. No freeze to come down from Minky Whale as he's holding the wave as best he can. I have a feeling it might get broken as Claire stand behind me onto a minion looking for Swiper. The tree forced to flash there as Carbon makes his presence known, but already a summoner spell down for the Chiefs.
Claire holds a wave, so you can see that he's already got his support tactics up. That is going to shove so hard, that will be a permanent freeze. But Chiefs still happy to play the fast push game. Want to get down the bottom turret as soon as possible.
Yeah, and what do you think about this? Swiffer picking up the Lucidity boots already. We often see that there's a Doran's ring there at least, as Spooks is going to find Minky Whale. Equilibrium Strike not going to be able to get a stun just yet. Egem comes in. There's the stun. Ignites down. The flash forward from Egem. And first blood against his former teammate.
Yeah, how much better could it be? As now Swiffer and Choos.
They're battling here in the mid lane. Down to about 150 is Choo Choos, but Swiffer forced to back away, not a lot of mana. Carbon discovers the tree here in the jungle. Another top lane versus jungle matchup, but no Braum to be seen for Legacy. Swiper's going to be able to get out, although he may lose his Grom.
Certainly looks like it's going to fall. Groms everywhere. Saddened by the news of their latest falling.
Tom Kench fans around the world quite upset.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
But
may not be. Swiper's been playing a bit of it.
Certainly has. Chiefs knocked down the bottom turret. Legacy looking to respond in time.
Now, lots of turrets falling very early in this game. No laning phase is desired at all for both of these sides. They want to open up the map, make sure that there's enough room for these skirmishes. What we heard our analysts talking about here, the fact that Legacy will want to be moving around and try and get themselves into those little fights around the jungle.
Yeah, they certainly would appear that way, but right now with a scaling composition, the Aurelia really needs the Trinity Force. Same for the Cogmore. You don't think they want to fight just yet. Very happy to funnel farm onto their carries, and even though First Blood went over onto the Chiefs, it was the jungle and support duo that picked it up. So the CS differentials are actually slightly in Legacy's favor. You can see Aurelia picked up a lot more than the Maokai, and even the Azir and the Cogmore doing slightly better.
Yeah, a couple of CS in the lead is Choo Choos with a couple of extra creeps left in the lane as well. That's a Sheen pickup from Tallywhacker as well. I mean, Wally Thacker, pardon my French, ladies and gentlemen, is the Sheen and the makings of the Phage in his back pocket.
So this is a general pickup out of Cogmore players. You like to get Sheen over Phage just because of the W harass that you can put through. As Choos actually goes in, might regret that.
Yeah, the E is down, of course, only level 5 for Spooks. Egem taking a lot of damage from Claire and Choo Choos, though. These Sand Soldiers, man, they're doing some work.
And it looks like Spooks has changed up his build a little bit in the last few weeks, deciding to max W on Gragas for some efficient skirmishing. That's why he took so much health out of Minky Whale earlier. And it just means that if you ever run into people, you do so much ridiculous damage. You take Barmy Cinder as well as the AoE Smite to make up for the jungle clear that you lose out on, and it just works out incredibly well.
So Legacy actually rotating this sort of turret-taking force of Kog'Maw and Braum. Not going to be able to get too much there as Minky Whale going aggressive onto Radiant. The Destiny's down towards the bottom side. The Ghost in from Swiffer. Destiny's still there, so the Vision's up. Minky trying to turn it onto Radiant, but he's going to go down. The second kill of the game goes to Radiant.
Yeah, Legacy looking to see if they can get the mid lane turret in response. Only Ejim and Spooks there, so they will be able to move in and siege. That's probably in their favor.
Yeah, Teleport going to come in for Swiper. We'll see whether Legacy can force this one down. There's the stun on Declare. Swiper picks it up. Turret falls. Swiffer with the gold card. Emperor's Divide. Just defensively here from Legacy as in goes the Sun Turret. I think he has teleported in, so everyone's grouped up here on the side of Legacy, apart from the player who's in the Death Chamber.
So two kills traded for the mid lane turret right there. You have to say gold advantage going over the Chiefs. As you can see on your screen, about 1,000 ahead already. But the map control firmly in favor of Legacy. They've opened up everything, and it's really difficult to chunk out Azir's turret because of how much wave clear he brings onto the Rift. So if they can hold on from here, continue to build up their dragons, you feel that they might be able to gain control of some neutrals.
Let's mention sort of how early it is in the game. 9 minutes in, that Sun Turret takes some beating. But Swiffer is still going to be able to deal with it. Choo Choo's moving towards this lane as well to continue his dominance. Wildcard starting to hurt though, as we do have a book in the back pocket of Swiffer with that Amplifying Tome, and he's grabbed a ring in the Doran's Variety as well. So only a couple of CS behind, and that stack deck is going to be very much helping him, picking up some extra money. 30 seconds on this dragon, and it looks like the next place the Chiefs are going to focus.
It certainly does. Minky Whale, no teleport available, means it's probably not going to be a fight. And when you look down the items, you kind of understand why. Just more gold value coming through right now from the Chiefs lineup. As we mentioned, Legacy, they really want those Trinity Force purchases, as well as some AP items in their mid laner before they really start to group up and fight these. So happy after they secured the first to just let themselves scale.
Yeah, just trying to sit back and get that farm. 6 in the lead is Radiant as he turned that one around. Chiefs going for the second dragon here. Of course, it is going to be their first of the game. About 800 in the lead is this Chiefs lineup. Radiant coming down just to throw a boomerang in and help out.
And we talk about Chiefs style of League of Legends so much, Atlas, and look at the wards they've lit up over the bottom half of the jungle. They're not playing topside at all. They understand the deep freeze is coming through. Instead, they make sure that Legacy cannot rotate through their bottom side of the map, and they're going to try and pressure 2 turrets simultaneously.
Yeah, TF still in the mid lane, does have the Destiny available, so a potential team fight can ensue. Choo Choo's not going to be able to respond, and Minky Whale, no teleport to speak of.
They're pinging him, they want the dive, and because Legacy are not able to go through their turret, they can't follow up.
Well, Choo's able to get out in time. Uses that E in order to create some distance. Of course, doesn't knock up on this patch. Can be a little bit unfortunate for some of these Azir players getting that Azir second.
They want the dive still.
Yep, Spooks is coming through, has the explosive path. There's a flash into the body slam! And Carbon now going to die as well. Swiper grabs a kill for himself. They are definitely sharing them around, other Chiefs.
And we just talked about it. They set up the vision in the bottom side of the jungle. They make sure that no one can come through to cut them off. That dive was so premeditated, but there was just nothing Legacy could do. They either had to give up the turret or try and live through the dive. And in the end, 2 go down. They lose the mid turret as well. And now Chiefs own everything.
They do, of course. Legacy now in their period of the game where they want to be scaling. You've spoken about this over and over again, but the Chiefs capitalizing on this moment of power that they have, even if it wasn't reflected necessarily in the gold.
Yeah, and you know, even though there's a 40 CS discrepancy, Minky Whale, he's died twice. Swiper has the 2-0-1 scoreline.
40 CS though.
It's 2 kills.
Yeah.
Stop killing the hype, man. As we get into
That is not my job.
So as we take another look at it, Spooks comes in underneath the turret, lands a flash body slam. Double ultimate just means that nothing can come out of Choose. Would have loved to use that Emperor's Divide. Tanks up the turret for just the right amount of time, and Swiper punches the ground and somehow kills a Yeti.
Yep, claps in the air, punches the ground. Ejim gonna get snowballed here. Spooks waiting patiently. Barrel comes down, slows down the Yeti. Celebrating Christmas a little bit early as Carbon. Claire's coming in. They're trying to go onto Ejim. Minky Whales here. Doesn't even need the Blade Surge. And first kill for Legacy goes down to Carbon.
Yeah, and even though he's a jungler, probably not a better member to get it. He would be so pumped up after that. As
Spooks, that was cheeky.
Steals away a Rift Scuttler.
Those things, they're worth gold, man.
And you can see that he has quite a CS lead so far in the jungle, doing a great job on Gragas of farming up. And the thing about Spooks is his CS always Swift is going.
Yeah, there's the Destiny towards the bottom side. Radier, he's taking up the turret actually as Wally. He's gonna fall. Radier picks up the kill. I have no idea how. The Flash Emperor's Divine Choo-Choos. Oh, the flash out from Swiffer. Out of under the turret. Boomerang secures the kill. It's a double for Radier. Claire tries to save himself. Swiffer almost dies. Oh, no, caster creep, not gonna do it.
Calculated. Don't panic, guys. Swiffer gets out with his life. Another 2 kills go over the Chiefs lineup. And right now, 4,000 gold alone, but it's 14 minutes into the game, and you can see how quickly they're accelerating the pace. Huge item pickup so far. Lichbane's done. Boots too, as well as the Home Guard coming through. Radier would be done with that IE. Take another look at it. Swiffer, clean as you like, just gets the nice turret dive. Claire wants to, Choo-Choos wants to be able to trade this one back, but just not able to do it. Cost him his life, and Claire was lucky to escape in the end as well.
Yeah, it was a decent glacial fissure, but with no members of his team alive, not going to be able to get too much done. Wally Thacker sitting in the top side, just looking to freeze out this wave for as long as possible and get the farm that he needs. Trinity Force, though, is now complete for the Cogmore.
So still looking to scale. You can see that he's quite close on CS, but doesn't have the 3 kills that Radier has the advantage in. And this is a really strange way for Legacy to play their first game. We expect them to come out swinging, but to hold 2 lanes in a freeze and just challenge a TF to dive you over and over again is a gambit, and so far definitely has not been paying off. And you have to say it's because Chiefs keep doing this, walking into Legacy's jungle, not to fight them, to just set up that line of vision.
Yeah, and they have so much of it as well. Legacy have done well keeping the vision control towards the top side. But Chiefs, we talk about this, they don't use redundant vision ever. They utilize when they have wards on the map to make sure that they're taking objectives around that area. And Spooks is going to now discover that pink. Body slams over into the Baron Pit. That's going to be up in about a minute. No, it's not. It's going to be up in about 5 minutes. This game has accelerated so fast.
Yeah, it certainly has, as Swiffer has to exit stage right from mid lane. Legacy looking to see if they can put down any deep vision to try and stop the flood of kills that have come through for the Chiefs so far. Radier is still happy to split push in the bottom lane, see if he can get any further control. Of course, creeps, great way to grab vision over that dragon area, and that's going to be up in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, that wave crashed into the turret there as well. Minky trying to pick up the last dregs of it as Wally and Claire. Hilarious names, Wally and Claire. Beautiful bottom lane. Now going to move towards the inner turret on the top side of the Rift. Swiffer staying out of vision, or what he thinks is out of vision. Nice ward there from Legacy. He's going to spot him though.
Yeah, and Legacy have done well to get some semblance of control back. They know where the approach will come through, at least for this dragon fight, and still doesn't look like Legacy want anything to do with it. Only 3,000 gold. They've pegged back to about a K. But still do not want to fight without the Trinity Force available on Minky.
Yeah, he's got an extra dagger there, so not a lot of gold needed. Yeah, there's the Destiny Choo-Choos. He's going to get stunned up. Emperor's Divide, not going to find any damage, but at least create some distance. Radier is on a killing spree as he picks up Carbon. Minky out of position as well. In comes the gold card. It's easy as that for the Chiefs as Swiffer helps Spooks pick up another kill.
This is just Chiefs completely catching Legacy off guard time and time again. We mentioned that they didn't want to fight, but they just overextend for creeps one too many times. And now Chiefs not interested in the dragon objective, just looking to knock down more turrets.
Yeah, that is what's going to win you the game. Making sure that you can get to that Nexus. We are going to have a brief pause, ladies and gentlemen. But so far, the Chiefs in such control of this game.
Still don't look happy. Very focused expression.
They're like machines.
They are.
They're League of Legends machines up on the stage right now, Spawn. And it's just looking tough for Legacy in this game. Of course, it is a best of 5. There are a few opportunities for Legacy to find their way in. We'll see whether we can get everything sorted out. It looks to be EGM's computer that we are going to have a quick look at.
See whether we can get that under control and back onto Summoner's Rift as soon as possible, guys. But Legacy have gone with a different composition. We mentioned the fact that they like to play the Corkies, the Sivers, these mid-game AD carries, try and get Wally going earlier on than what you would have necessarily thought possible. He's gone with a late-game carry. You talk about the fact that Minky Whale plays a lot of Hecarim. High-impact top laners this time, going with the Aurelia, a little bit more split pushing into a late game. They really have tried to mix it up. And what that means is that there's some room for error. If this game doesn't work, they can say, okay, well, we tried plan A, throw that one out the window, because it obviously didn't work. Let's move on to plan B. Game definitely not over yet. They still do have the scaling on their side, but I like the fact that they're willing to experiment even in such a game like the Grand Final.
Yeah, and what I really, really love about this as well is the fact that Legacy are testing the Chiefs. They're saying, if you guys aren't willing to take risks and really bring it to us early in this game, we will outscale you. There is no two ways about it. Azir, Aurelia, and Kog'Maw, what are you going to do?
I can tell you exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to give them nightmares of last season where they Chiefs just couldn't close out. They were getting ahead by 10,000 gold margins, struggling to close out, and then Legacy were running over the top of them. That's how they beat them. They said, we are a better late-game team fighting comp and team than what you are, and we're going to play it every single time until you can prove that you can beat us before 30 minutes. And the Chiefs couldn't do it in best of 5s and best of 3s, so once again, Legacy just asking that question.
Yeah, they certainly are. So of course, in the first game, Legacy saying, okay, well, this is what we managed to beat you with last time. Prove to us that you can beat it, and then we'll bring something new to the Rift. And it makes a whole lot of sense. So far, the Chiefs are demonstrating that, yes, they may have learnt some new tricks since the last Best of series.
And this is the evolution of the lineup. They couldn't play lane swaps when they went over to IWC. Very big exploitation. This time around, you saw that they dealt with the freezes after the lane swaps very well. Their vision control has just improved so much. So across the board, Chiefs looking like that dominant side we expected them to be. And now it's about whether Legacy can hit back, rise to the occasion that is the OPL Grand Final, and really try and take control over some maps.
Yeah, you can see all of them looking very intent, very ready to get back onto the Rift and get this game underway. Of course, not allowed to talk to each other here in a pause. Got to make sure that you're not going to be communicating. It's not a timeout. It's a technical difficulty.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah.
Hope so. Yeah. Don't make promises you can't keep, Atlas. We're not doing anything. We're talking about
League of Legends. We're not going
anywhere
either. We can talk all night if you guys are okay with it. So don't even worry about it.
So Legacy,
stop waving those things.
So let's get back onto the game. So Legacy, they went with the late game comp. Chiefs, they did the opposite. They said that we're going to use this Sivir to rotate around the map, make sure that we have some control over the early game. They went with the Annie, a good initiator. They had some really big threats in the Gragas and the Maokai to be able to dive turrets, and we've seen that they've used those tools time and time again, let alone the fact that Swiffer is just such a good Twisted Fate player. He loves the champion, always had, one of the few older Twisted Fate players in the OPL.
There are a lot of them as well. Of course, Perfection on the side of the Direwolves. He's a massive Legacy Twisted Fate player. Kensty as well has definitely tried his hand. Claire himself.
Yeah, the bottom lane support is a huge Twisted Fate player.
Knows that champion inside and out.
Certainly does. And Swiffer showing that even though he hasn't picked it up much in competitive lately, has been spamming the heck out of it in solo queue, and still very deadly when he brings it onto Summoner's Rift in a competitive setting.
And it's always that pocket pick as well for Swiffer. He can pick it up in any meta. It doesn't matter because it's Swiffer. He just grabs it. Oh my goodness, that rhyme was awful. I apologize.
Take a look at the crowd. Thank you so much for your patience, guys, as we try and get back onto the Rift. And you can see Chiefs, they're still not looking completely happy. They look a little bit more relaxed. Swiper's still smiling.
Radier's just leaning back in his chair. That's not the general posture. That's a little bit further back than normal. Those shoulders sit fairly far back, Spawn.
He has wings on the chair, Atlas. He can't get them any further back.
Oh, that might actually be a slight nerf. Might slightly affect them. But we are going to swap out EGM's computer, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, mentioned before that it was EGM's computer that was playing up just a bit. Switching it out, we are going to be back onto the Rift ASAP.
And so looking to how Legacy can regain control of this map, it all starts with the vision control. Fifth Dragon will be a little bit delayed because with the Nunu pickup, they were able to grab it so early on in the map. It was about 4.5 minutes. So this time around, expect them to just ward nice and deep in the lane, see if they can spot TF out where he wants to be. Wow, very nice face there out of the Nami in the crowd. See whether they can stall out the game, keep eyes on the Twisted Fate, and then try and take advantage as he overextends to pick up some kills.
I can't believe that you managed to stay on topic then, Spawn. That was very impressive.
I got a good chuckle. That was great.
Yeah, I basically have no idea what you just said because I was looking intently at what was going on the screen. Lots of drama is going to be the outcome. But yeah, Twisted Fate going to be able to get around the rift and get things done. But at what point do Legacy just inherently take over? Is it all the way down the track when gold becomes irrelevant, or is it going to be before that? Do they need certain item power spikes?
So Kog'Maw is fantastic because as he gets skill ups, he gets much stronger, as well as the fact that he's a great Trinity Force user. So they probably need a solid tank item on their Aurelia after the Trinity Forces come through, and the Merc Tread, so about an item and a half on Minky Whale, and then a couple of items onto their mid laner Azir, because if you can pump out a lot of damage initially, Kog'Maw actually cleans up fights incredibly well with his chase potential, with the Rage passive out of the Trinity Force. So, you know, they're accelerated a little bit because they have the Blood Boil as a choice. They have 3 damage threats as a choice on their team. Only really the Braum as a big tank. So maybe about 35 minutes, they will be at a point to be able to fight.
Yeah, and is it going to be a point with the fact that they do have a couple of Trinity Force users? That power spike has come in, but can Minky Whale, now that he has that item, can he start to skirmish around the jungle? If he finds someone, can he kill them?
Aurelia can always skirmish. She's one of those champions that there's always outplay potential, always the ability to be able to get a lot of health back through the Key 10 style as well as the ultimate. So put nothing past Mickey. He's probably still going to try and fight people. He never does anything else.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I was waiting for. I was like, oh, let's ask you a question about Minky Whale fighting people. I know that I can get a yes from this one. No worries.
As we have got confirmation that Ejim looks like he is going to log back in on his PC, so should get us back onto the game very shortly, guys.
You can see the trophy that both of these teams are fighting for. It's a little bit mean of us to put it right there in front of them. It's so close, Spawn, and yet so far. Maybe not quite as far here for the Chiefs, who are already ahead. Quite a margin of gold at the early stage of this game, but anything can happen, of course. Inner turret has gone down in the mid lane, but no breaking of the base. And we'll see whether the Braum is going to be enough to stop that siege. Of course, Unbreakable pretty handy in that department.
Yeah, it certainly is. And although they have the Twisted Fate to use the Lich Bane procs, not much else range coming out on the Chiefs lineup. Civ, a very short range AD carry, so will be difficult in these siege situations, especially with the Braum Unbreakable, as you mentioned, to be able to get into the base. That's why it relies on picks, controlling the dragon, making sure that you can get a nice early Baron to push through these minion waves with Siva, who is much better at wave clear and prolonged sieges than she is at taking down turrets incredibly quickly.
They in fact have a lot of wave clear in both their mid lane and the bottom lane, of course, with that boomerang as well. The wild cards coming out of Swiffer, paired with that red card, just going to eat those minion waves over and over again. And it's not going to be that the Chiefs spend a whole lot of time working on creeps. They're going to be trying to get straight towards these turrets.
But you have to be careful how you do it, because there's a split push threat. Minky Whale can split push, teleport into the action. And then the more you push without effect, the more gold you funnel onto Choose.
We are back onto the rift, though, ladies and gentlemen. Ejim managing to fix everything. Legacy pushing forward. Chiefs are going to be able to take down their second dragon of the game. Going to be the third, as Legacy did manage to take the first. Nice little buffer for Legacy, those 6% stats. The important dragon in the early game.
Certainly is a little bit less efficient because of the Trinity Force users. If you build raw stats like
it's a good point.
The AD, 6% means a lot more coming through. But we see that Legacy still moving around the map as a unit and isolating out Minky in the top lane, trying to funnel some farm.
Unfortunately, they do have some pretty farm-hungry champions both standing next to each other in the mid lane there, as Wally and Choo Choo's moving around. Wally going to take some Raptors, I believe, move around this map, just searching for farm, is this Kog'Maw.
That's another reason that the Nunu pickup is very good for the Legacy lineups. It means that he doesn't really need much farm to be efficient. Probably will sit on Sightstone as well as the Lock of the Eye and Solari and be very happy.
Raptor sense right there.
Oh, 2-for-1 special coming through.
My goodness, I didn't even know that that was a sale.
So they can strip away Carbon's jungle and make sure that they're getting the gold onto the priority carries.
And it looks like Legacy actually have picked themselves up a whole lot of extra vision, defensive vision around their own jungle. just to make sure that the Chiefs can't continue this stranglehold. You can see Spooks is trying to clear it all out, trying to get the Chiefs' vision in amongst it. EGM going to be helping him here as well. Chuchu's waiting in the wings. There are a lot of Legacy members towards this bottom side. Spooks just feels like this is his home now.
Yeah, it certainly does. Has been in the bottom half of the jungle for a very long time. As we see the 1-1-3 split push begin out of the Chiefs. This is something that they can do with the double teleports. And Minky Whale looking for Swiffer in the mid lane, maybe.
Yeah, looking to fight him. There's the gold card. Minky Whale running further is going to help him as far as negating that CC.
Choo-Choo's was rotating around. Doesn't look like they want it in the end, and they might give up a free top lane turret as the tree continues to wail on it.
Highest base AD in the game, Spawn. He's trying his best. But Claire going to be a little bit more breakable than that spell would otherwise imply as he finds his way back to Wally. And here comes the siege. There's the on the hunt though. Chiefs, they don't want a siege, they want to kill people.
Yeah, as we said, they're not a great siege comp. They just want to get in there and look for the picks. So they burn.
On the hunt?
On the hunt.
For a tower.
Able to push them off.
Not a bad trade there at all. Swift are going to pick up the enemy blue buff here at the same time. Spooks just smacking that one around. This pink ward able to stop any attempt of Legacy to pick that one up for themselves. Nice use of the empowered scrying orb. They at least know the timer there on that blue.
So at 20 minutes, we have a 7,000 gold lead. Pretty high value right there for the Chiefs, and you can see in their item builds, 2,000 between the AD carries mid lane. And yeah, that even the jungle is so far apart right now. Only really Minky Whale that's keeping up with his lane opponent.
Yeah, he's only 300 gold behind. Of course, with all the extra global pressure that the Chiefs have been able to put on, it's pretty impressive. It has a lot to do with that little number next to their scoreline. 127 to 96. 30 CS in the lead is Minky. Just trying to weather the storm that is the Chiefs.
And they have slowed the pace of the game, Atlas. This is what we were talking about, being able... Wow. That pink one being nice and sneaky. Just a little bit around the corner.
I think they're back-to-back, Spawn. And they must be. Both of them looking different directions. A little bit unfortunate. Raider, though, feeling safe. Of course, lots of vision around him as well as he clears out this wave. Wastes no time doing it as well.
They should still walk through that brush, even though it is pink water, just in case. And Radiant does spot it out by doing so. No, he doesn't.
No, I'm pretty sure there's been a few players that have wandered through that brush, and none of them have actually cleared out the ward. Chiefs, though, hanging around this Baron. It only spawned 2 minutes ago. Spooks is going to start it.
So Spooks has got the Glacial Shroud, taking a lot of damage.
Yeah. Glacial Shroud not going to be quite enough here. 2 wards in the Baron pit. Radiant looking to try and clear those out. Carbon swings around, and as far as jungler's health pools are concerned, he's definitely winning. Gold card lands. Swiffer evens that score. Gets stunned by EGM. Swiffer not going to pull the trigger. Neither are the rest of the Chiefs.
And the game resets once again. Got to credit Legacy for being able to slow the pace of the game down. Make sure that the Chiefs don't really have many objectives to go for. They are playing with the Baron right now, but not really that much of an option because of the lack of armor on their lineup, and the Legacy lineup will just continue to farm.
Yep, they're more than happy to have this game as slow as possible. As Radiant is going to spend some time towards the top side. EGM taking care of him there as well. And Swipe are going to move towards the bottom lane. So you're right. Seems like a massive success here for Legacy, and they're down so incredibly far. On the hunt's been popped. Talisman of Ascension there as well. As Swiffer's going to find Wally. That is not the target Legacy wanted to lose, and the red buff going to go to Spooks as well.
Wow, what a decisive play coming out of the Chiefs lineup. I was just watching how far they came back from there.
Know where they were aiming.
Able to just get onto any priority target. They have the Talisman, they have the On the Hunt, as well as Swiffer's ultimate. And time again, they're just punishing Wally's greed for trying to grab CS under turrets, red buffs in jungles where he just shouldn't be. And they grab another objective.
Is that greed really there, Spawn? Because he could see Radio is in the top lane when he was standing in that brush next to his raptor camp.
Yeah, but
and then got caught.
He can also watch VODs of the Chief and how they ward out all the jungle. As you can see right now, it's lit up like a Christmas tree, Atlas. There's no way they didn't know where he was.
So the tactic is assume Fog of War is turned off
yes.
if against the Chiefs.
100%. They've been on your side of the map for more than 30 seconds. They will find you.
Okay, well, I feel like I can probably go into a series now. It's not true. Ollie's going to take down as much CS as he possibly can. These Krugs aren't going to be included in that as Carbon pokes his head around and says, okay, yep, you deserve that one.
Gives him the blood boil.
Yeah, not bad.
And Swiffer, wow, you know that you're going really well on TF when your wildcards nearly clear out the back wave. Only one auto attack required. He's got the Zhonya's Hourglass for a little bit more team fighting at this stage of the game. And just looking to continue to make plays.
Yeah, and this isn't sort of a Swiffer tactic generally to go for that Zhonya's Hourglass. He's all about the damage most of the time, but of course Twisted Fate does like to use that item a whole lot more than a lot of others. Getting right in amongst the fight, using that Zhonya's, then your team can collapse on top. Pink ward down here for the Chiefs as Rift Scuttler is going to be taken by Radier. Just passing through. On the hunt's been popped again. Talisman, they're moving so fast. Claire might be caught out. 3 members of Legacy here. There's the explosive cast as Spooks takes down Claire. The fight is well and truly on. Destiny into the backline. Gold card onto Wally. Mickey solo. Double kill for Choose though. An extra one to follow here. A Cathian surprise is there. Swiffer does have the Zhonya's. The Cathian not going to work, but Carbon pretty
Teleport
tanky.
is available. Swiffer's going to go down.
Yeah, Minky's round the corner. Has to use the flash to Swiffer. There's the snowball. Shut down for Choose. Spooks is so incredibly low. Legacy, they may have waited it out long enough. Spooks is going to survive, but Legacy, that was the first team fight of the game and they won.
And they get the team fight they were looking for, an overreach. He teleported into 3 members. Destiny not burnt till the latter end of that team fight, and Swiffer went solo onto 2 members. They make him pay and choose. Let's take another look. So they fly in, you see the teleport behind. They delete Claire, but he's a support. They don't really care. And all the while, Wally on the back line just free hitting. Great peeling coming through. Takes out Radier. Choo Choo's goes ballistic, and Legacy clean up the Chiefs.
That Emperor's Divide was like a knife through the team. Just ridiculous. And Choo Choo's, despite the fact that this Azir has been slightly nerfed, as Swiffer goes down as well. Nothing the Chiefs could have done in that situation. They may rethink fighting in a corridor now, Spawn.
They certainly will, and you know, we nerfed the initiation, Atlas, not the counter engage. And if the Chiefs want to continually run head first into a Braum, into the Azir, it's just going to mean that they don't get very far. Need to continue to look for their picks. All they needed was 1 kill to unlock the Baron. Instead, they go for the greed play, and it bites them.
Yeah, now Rabbidan's death cap completed by Choose. Another on the hunt. Radier's using it on cooldown. Minky Whale's going to get stunned up by the gold card. The reset of the autos is there. Swiffer almost died, but the Chiefs get the kill.
But that's much better use. As we said, they're just looking for the one person to pick off, shove out the waves and create pressure around the map. They only need 3 or 4 more of them, and it will be the game. And as you can see, all the kills going on to the right members. 5, 1, and 6. Sivir is a monster. Swiffer can join Radier in that regard, 3, 1, and 8, and they're just instrumental in how they're playing the game.
Yeah, Chiefs probably just looking to stop team fighting now. Like you said, use it for picks, try and grab people out. But Legacy looking to try and get to that stage where they can safely group up as a unit and create more team fight magic like we just saw from this side.
And we mentioned the fact that Kog'Maw doesn't really need the penetration, so it means that he can just continue to scale up. With the Blood Boil now finished off the Blade of the Ruined King and the Trinity Force, Wally definitely in a position to start dishing out the damage just because of the jungle pickup.
The zoning barrel goes down. Chiefs able to take down a pink ward here as their vision is going to then be cleared out. It's a back and forth of vision control. Wally is going to find a red buff this time. No surprise Sivers from around the corner to come in. Spooks waiting on the ward. The Chiefs moving ever forward.
Once again, controlling the vision around Baron, seeing whether they can start it up. Minky Whale, unrelenting in this split push.
Yeah, it does, of course, have that teleport available as well. It's now Legacy trying to get themselves into a position of power. Sun turret is up, so Legacy with an extended mid lane.
Dragon another minute away. Number 4 is generally the one you have to fight for. Looking down the line, Chu's definitely ready to go.
Oh yeah, that's
Got the Trinity of the holy... What the heck? They've started up Baron again. Yep, Legacy don't know.
So Chiefs just going to start it. When in doubt, do Baron. Seems to be the call here from the Chiefs. Boomerang coming across 3,000 health. It's down to... There it is, the Scrying Orb, and Spooks locks down the Baron with a nice smite, and the Chiefs, they're making the proactive plays.
Yeah, just decisive shot calling coming through there. Was not expecting them to launch themselves at the Baron that way. They had been playing with it for a while, but with 30 seconds on Dragon, did not expect. And they come up with a nice sneak.
Yeah, Radiant going to go back, picks himself up, the Bloodthirster as well, looking to try and keep himself healthy in these team fights.
So this is one of Radiant's more annoying habits, Atlas.
Okay.
When he goes back, buys a longsword instead of a pink ward.
That's also one of Spawn's little habits, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. But vision wins you competitive games.
Yeah, do what you say, not what you do. And of course, guys, there was a certain competition. And a Baron just went down, just letting you know that if you didn't take a photo of it, then you may not be winning some really sweet Logitech gear. As the Dragon is going to go down, that's the 4th there for the Chiefs. 9,000 gold, the lead for this side now. And Legacy still hoping for that Dream team fight, but the Dream is slowly growing slimmer and slimmer.
Certainly is. They're just looking to see whether they can pick up. If they can grab, just scrape together the last Whisper, maybe a defensive item onto Minky, they can throw one more fight at it because you feel that the Chiefs will hit the big go button one more time. And with the Baron to up creeps, the 1-3-1 just becomes even harder to deal with. Dragon 5 also 4.5 minutes away. Chiefs have everything to win, but we've seen time and time again, this is when Legacy wins the League of Legends games.
Yeah, it's past this time. Of course, the longer a game goes, Legacy just seem to find more in the tank. I honestly, even after watching Winter over and over again, still amazing that Legacy managed to come out as effectively as they did against all odds, and we'll see whether they can once again do it here today. But so far, 10,000 gold the lead for the Chiefs. Baron swirling around them as well, as Radiant is making his push towards the bottom lane inhibitor turret, and Swiper continuing the split on the top side. Teleports up for both sides. A lot of summoner spells actually available. It's only the smite down here on the side of the Chiefs.
So the Chiefs were trying to build that minion wave for as long as possible, maybe even hold it off the turret to get TF as well as the Maokai in position as well. Chu's tanked it up and took so much damage.
Yeah, he's going to be able to use that E to get himself back towards his fountain. Heal up a little bit as well. Now has a Negatron cloak. So does not want that chunking to happen at all.
Yeah, all of a sudden, there's just 2 minion waves they have to deal with. We weren't sure whether they could deal with one, let alone multiple. And the 3rd is on its way.
We'll see whether the Chiefs realize the fact. Oh, Destiny's in towards the top side. Chu chooses the focus. He's already down so low, but they can't close the distance. Minkuel trying to come through there. There's the gold card. As Swift is trying to save himself. Transcendent Blade's not enough, but no one going to die.
And no turrets going down during that Baron buff duration. So successful repelling of the siege. Radiant.
Oh, that spell shield was fantastic as the Glacial Fissure did come down. It's a big cooldown here for Legacy.
They grab top lane turret while all that action's going on. So Chiefs break the base. Maybe getting a little bit greedy by sticking around. They still want to continue the split push.
Minkuel's getting stronger and stronger as this game goes. Of course, only going to get tankier from here. Swiffer taking down some Krogs, and it looks like the Chiefs is more than happy. They've taken the turret, they've broken the base. Time to go back, recuperate, grab some items, and do it all over again.
Yeah, now just set up that wall of vision around the 5th Dragon. Make sure that Legacy cannot get a look in. Fight over the top inhibitor afterwards. They don't need to rush anymore, the Chiefs. Legacy are starting to hit their stride, but Chiefs are a full item ahead in every position. It just means that they can play the patient waiting game that they've become known for as the game progresses.
And this is Minkuel with only a cloth armor worth of armor against Radiant with 4 items completed, one of them being that last Whisper that he just went back and completed from a longsword. So yeah, this Sivir, Scuttlecrab did not stand a chance.
Yeah, Radiant definitely got going early on in this one. Was helped out a lot by the Twisted Fate. The fast push just seems to suit how the Chiefs wanted to play the early game. And now actually, just because they want to, they've sent Swiffer into the top lane.
Yeah, Swiffer just likes it up there sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my response too, guys.
Yeah, did you hear the crowd? That red card, man. So much damages.
Spooks might be caught.
Yeah, there's the Ice Blast. Winter's Bite not going to find anything though. Chiefs successfully back away, and the split push is on here for Swiffer. He's continuing to move towards that open inhibitor. Does have a Lich Bane. This Twisted Fate is like an AD carry when he gets up to these structures, but he's going to back away. They're playing it so safe for the Chiefs. Is not Ejim. He's dead.
So Minky Whale able to... No, actually, it didn't go to Minky Whale.
Okay. Trading Ejim for an inhibitor. See how Ejim feels about
now
that.
Swiffer might be caught.
Yeah, Wally actually creates enough distance there. Wildcards, there's the Zhonya's as Claire right in his face. And Wally picks up the kill. Legacy grabs some kills. Structure's still going to the Chiefs.
And what did we say, Atlas? Chiefs need to prove that they can close out a game against Legacy before they stop playing late game comps. And once again, a little bit of a hiccup. They pick up the inhibitor, but they lose 2 members. All the pressure they generated around this Dragon area now goes over to the Legacy lineup.
The thing that you can really note here, though, is the fact that the Chiefs will all be able to make it back to that Dragon pit as a unit as this Dragon spawns. So Legacy haven't quite got a free ride just yet. And that is going to be the team fight, honestly, that I feel seals this game.
Certainly will be. You feel if Legacy win it, they have to win a couple more still. But if the Chiefs are able to run away with it, especially with Teleport and Destiny available, they might be able to close it out. So a lot of pressure on this Legacy lineup to execute well around the Dragon in 18 seconds.
Oh, Living Artillery's there. Spooks might be caught. Nice use of the body slam to get himself to safety, but loses a third of his health to the Living Artillery. Oh, Sapling looking formidable. Oh, charge! Oh dear. Oh, Ejim, you have to be careful, son. You do not have a lot of health. Swiffer moving around. Legacy trying to start off this Dragon. Look at those Sand Soldiers.
And look how tanky Carbon is. We mentioned it already. Nunu needs nothing, and they're going to be able to get it.
Yeah. Explosive Cast was there.
Tagged.
He was trying to pick up the Dragon.
The answer from the Chiefs is to push mid, but they're split up.
Yeah, and the rest of Legacy are collapsing, and they're collapsing as a unit as well. Ejim not going to get hit by that Winter's Bite. There's the On the Hunt as Radiant just going to go 1v5 at the moment. The rest of the Chiefs are here. Radiant Blues are here. Legacy members are falling left, right, and center. Choo-choos. Great positioning on the backside. Emperor's Divide. Swiffer in trouble, but my goodness, this Sivir is doing so much work, and the shutdown for Swiffer. Doesn't matter what comp you have, Chiefs can still team fight like anyone.
And you see them streaming into the base. They're able to pick up the 4-for-0. Only Carbon to stand in their way. He will fall down, and Chiefs will grab the Game 1 victory.
But after what was such a decisive early game, the Chiefs definitely looked fallible towards the mid-game of that, and I believe that we have a series on our hands, Spawn.
We certainly do. The positioning out of Choo-Choo's back from his holiday looks very good as we take a look at the Chiefs lineup. Huge grin on Radiant's face. Swiffer also enjoyed himself that game.
Ejim is all business though. That guy was like, okay, I got picked out on Annie. I'm just gonna kill them all next game. I'm so angry. But he's stone-faced. Ready to get into game 2, of course. This is a best-of-5 series. It's all about how you can keep the momentum after a victory and put it into your next match. And look, when it is Legacy, these guys, they thrive as the underdog.
And apply what you learned in the last game.
Yeah.
Okay, the Twisted Fate really hurt the freezing that they were going to go with. Pick the same comp, ban away the Twisted Fate.
Yep.
Make the Chiefs prove that they can beat you another way.
That's exactly right, and we'll see whether they can do so in the next game, because Legacy, they do have a fight on their hands. There are going to be at least 3 games. Chiefs have to win all of them. And Legacy, they have time to adapt. They're an adaptive squad with a lot of morale boosters. I'm looking at Carbon, Minky-Well. Minky-Well came back on the side because they needed him there in the top lane. They just needed him in the comms. This guy is just all of that positive reinforcement for this team.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they love playing League of Legends together. You saw that they really did have a late surge coming into the back end of that game. They picked up a teamfight victory, Choose was flying around the map. Tally's positioning, which we've questioned a little bit, was phenomenal towards the later stages of the game. And it was just that one item too much that all the Chief members were holding that meant the wildcards, the boomerangs, were just doing too much AoE damage.
Well, I want to hear from our analysts and what they thought about that game. So let's throw it over to Pastry Time and Friends for some further thoughts.
Thank you very much, Atlas. And what a way to start things off here in the grand finals. Legacy versus Chiefs, looking like a vintage game there. Almost had some shades of the Winter Regionals from 2014, but the Chiefs do pull it out there in the end.
Yeah, we got glimmers of both of the teams and their strengths. Of course, Legacy looking to get that late game team fighting comp, but they just did not get there in time because the Chiefs capitalized on that to a T.
They did. It might have been a little too greedy there, but let's just kind of break down the team comps to start things off here. And Alex, I heard you had a lot of thoughts here on just, the comps that the teams picked and sort of how things were going to play out.
Yeah, for me, this game was really a game of team comps. Chiefs opting for the huge pick comp. They first picked the Sivir. That doesn't reveal too much, but when the Annie and the TF came in, it was clear they were looking to get kills around the map, punish overextensions. Legacy, on the other hand, they had the comp that is almost perfect to fall victim to that because they really need to farm up with the Azir, the Irelia, and the Kog'Maw. I'm kind of questioning the Irelia pick at this point because Azir and Kog'Maw, monstrous late game, especially with the Nunu at their side. I'm just wondering if maybe a more defensive pick would have been appropriate for Minkuel in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive pick would have been better for the top lane because, as you said, Aurelia doesn't have natural resistances. And I think the key to this, though, is that the Chiefs put a lane swap into effect. And you look at holistically at what Legacy were trying to do with their team comp. They were trying to scale. They were trying to become this overbearing late game threat. But the fact that they lane swapped and denied that from actually happening, they then had 3 carries and only 2 lanes where they could farm. And the Chiefs just played the map so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key for Chiefs here this game was to just find those tiny moments when Legacy are a bit out of their depth, when they're pushing in a bit too deep, and go in with a Destiny. And absolutely that is what they did to the T. They stumbled a few times, but in the end, they knew their comp well, they knew Legacy's comp well, and they just came out on top.
Yeah, I mean, we could see from the early game there, it was just all Chiefs to start things off here. Rossi, look at this dive.
This is just the typical Sivir comp dive right here. They lacked vision in the bot side, Legacy on the right side of the map, and Irelia was top side, just farming under turret. So was Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw was farming under turret. They were just a bit too deep there and didn't pay enough respect to the Sivir and the TF pick.
I completely agree. The fact that they were able to do that, though, the ward was placed after they had all died. So don't let the minimap fool you. Chiefs had complete vision control and were able to secure that very, very easy dive on what was going to be the natural progression of the game, essentially. They got top, they got bottom. Where else are you going to go next? But Legacy fell into the trap.
Yeah, and it wasn't the only time it happened. Legacy were continually overextending and getting caught out by those Destinies.
It's funny as well, because certainly the Chiefs had a very clear game plan, but is it too greedy, Rymeister? I know you obviously have a lot to say in your drafts and kind of how the team plays out. You look at Legacy's draft, and it feels like a good Legacy draft, but is it too much? Is there too much scaling there?
It's just that playing Nunu, you can't pressure all the lanes at once. It's about vision control. Just trying to give vision to the mid lane, get the Zir to get the early turret mid, get some gold on the team so they can hit their power spikes of Trinity Force, of the Blade Realm King, etc. earlier. And this is not what they did. Irelia was too deep, too often, and weren't paying enough respect to the comp.
Well, sounds a lot like Minky there. We do have another replay here at Rusty, kind of looking again at sort of the Chiefs' game plan. Talk me through this one.
Yeah, so this particular dive was Swiffer going super deep. You can see his positioning from the ultimate completely underneath the turret. So we'll just roll this one through and keep note of the fact that Raider is putting out ridiculous amounts of damage. It's just unbelievable. Swiffer still stuck under the turret, and this is where Choo-Choo's tries to make that miracle play, actually knocking away Swiffer from the Kog'Maw explosion. The rest of Chiefs, the cavalry arrives, and they can't actually follow that up, but this particular pick, it's progressed into a turret, it's progressed into everything. So every single time that the Chiefs made a pick, they got so much more from that pick that was how they would manage to basically snowball out the game.
And I'm honestly surprised that Legacy were, I don't want to say disrespecting, but getting caught off guard that often. They were saying before, what do they respect most about their Chiefs? Their ability to catch you off guard when you're not expecting it. And to me, it felt like maybe they were a bit nervous, but they weren't respecting the TF Destiny enough.
I think nerves is actually a great thing to hit on here, because this game felt very nervy for both teams here. There were signs of life there towards the back end. We mentioned Choo-Choo's. He certainly had a big role to play there, sort of as expected for the mid laner. But yeah, both teams are sort of back and forth. Even the end to that game in some points. Not quite there yet, but just the way the teams were playing, you could tell it was game one of a massive grand final.
Nerves did start to weigh in on the way that they were playing the game. That is definitely worth noting. You could see it in the style, and the fact that Legacy essentially letting that lane swap happen, something they wanted so desperately was to get standard lanes, but they were allowed Chiefs to actually put it into effect, and it felt like the entire team comp of Legacy just crumbled under that. And the fact that the Chiefs had a pick comp in particular, they had a Twisted Fate and a lane swap. So not only are you getting all of the early turrets, the Destinies, you can go everywhere. You don't have to dive if there's no turret.
Yeah, I mean, again, just strong stuff there. But we do have another replay now to bring up as well. And I'll let you take this one here, Alex. This was very interesting.
This was really interesting, yeah. So the goal of Chiefs here was to power into the Legacy jungle with the Sivir, with the Talisman, and look for someone off guard. The problem, though, is that they're in the tightest space possible on Summoner's Rift. That's the red side jungle. With all the wars around, Nunu and Azir can wreak absolute havoc. And, okay, so roll the clip now. We're going to watch Chiefs run in, and this is a good idea, right? They're trying to get someone off guard, but Claire absorbs the brunt of the damage here. They use a lot of cooldowns on him, and by the time that he goes down, Choo Choo's is in perfect position to get an absolutely monstrous Emperor's Bite. There it goes, and you can just see how much it pushed Chiefs out of position. They're really positional reliant because they're a pick comp. And, you know, as Legacy just clean house here, it just, I wonder why Chiefs decide to do that without, you know, heaps of vision. Because you really need a lot of vision to go blind someone's jungle. But it's a bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? But
yeah,
you see how it plays out in the end. Spooks managed to survive by the skin of his teeth, but that could have thrown the game for them.
Definitely could have. I mean, Legacy, they got the team fight they were looking for. 26 minutes in the game. We thought like it was actually going to turn around all of a sudden because Legacy, again, they just turned it on. And the team fight that they were looking for, they did get. But didn't turn out that way in the end, though it was very close.
Yeah, you can see Legacy sort of streaming back in there as well. They'll be certainly ready to play the next game. They're a team that does play with momentum quite well here, but I'm curious, Rymeister, actually, about the mid lane pick here specifically. We heard a little bit about the sort of game Chiefs were playing. How good of a Twisted Fate pick do you think this was? Obviously, Swiffer's great at it. We've got a lot of good Twisted Fate players in the region, but what do you think of the pick sort of in that comp and how they executed, especially how they want to play against Legacy?
Well, I expect the first game, usually, you know, with nerves playing in, for Legacy to be a little bit more cautious, especially like Aurelia. It's too deep. So TF was able to make the picks on the map, so it definitely ended up being a good pick. The only problem with TF is that you often lose your turret early, like your first turret, your mid turret early, and it played out in their favor anyways because they just Legacy kept going, getting picked, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, smart stuff there from the Chiefs. A strong win there. And Rusty, we have one more replay to close things out here. Take it away.
We certainly do have one more replay, and this was the last team fight that actually secured the Chiefs the game. Now, it wasn't necessarily a pivotal moment because considering just beforehand, there was actually the 5th Dragon taken away from the Chiefs, so they didn't have that immediate capability of finding the team fight. And Legacy, again, an outscaling team. So the fact that they could actually get a very strong team fight was just ridiculous. So we'll roll the clip through, and you can see the way that this actually played out. Legacy, they split. Carbon, not in a very good position to engage in a fight. Sivir has the ultimate, and wildcards are being thrown out by this Twisted Fate. So meanwhile, whilst they are in a decent position because they've got a choke point that they can hold, the damage that Swiffer is able to output onto Wally Thacker and then onto Choo Choo's take him down whilst Raider is sitting basically in the front line to secure a very easy team fight. This Chiefs side, when they get late game, they did throw it to Legacy. Yeah,
I'm happy to open this to any of you, but how different is this game if that goal lead's a lot slimmer?
Well, you have to imagine that Legacy are able to play their game more often. I'm talking about the split pushing, the farming, the safe vision play. Legacy, if they're not behind, if they're not as scared of a sudden gank, then they're able to play that a lot more efficiently. The difference this time, compared to when they did it in Winter Regionals, is the 5th Dragon. If you give Chiefs room in the early game, it's really hard to stop them from getting that 5th Dragon. And even if they went all the way to late game, it still would have been really tough for them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Chiefs probably want to clean a couple of things up here. Rymeister, you're sitting there on that stage as a player here for the final. What do you want to change as the Chiefs, if anything? Like, is it more aggressive, less aggressive? Like, do you just be like, okay, we won the first game, let's really try and smash them here? Or do you kind of mix it up a bit?
Realistically, Chiefs can do whatever they want at this point. You know, pick whatever comp they want to run because they're confident enough that in themselves that they can pull this off. The only thing that I'd like to see from the Chiefs actually is just a little bit more decisive around the objectives. As we saw in the last fight, they half committed to Dragon and then they half committed to the inner turret, the inhibited the turret in mid lane.
Yeah.
But the only problem there was that Legacy were indecisive as well, so it just gave room for the TF and the Sivir to reposition, pull off the AoE, and win the team fight.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to what Chiefs would change, you would say not much because they won the game. That's a pretty fair assumption to make. They should play comfortably,
Korean
play
advice.
standard. Yeah, play what exactly. Just win the game and then don't have to change anything.